afternoon, mi gente. How we doing? We need, it's cold, right? So that's fine. We're gonna get you guys warmed up when we get ourselves squared away. What I'm gonna ask you to do is two things. One is get comfortable. This is a conversation, not a presentation necessarily. So we need you to talk to us. So those of you that are far away over there, come closer. And those of you that are sitting way over there, try to come closer. You don't need to bring your stuff with you because you're in the same room as your stuff. So you gotta do is come sit closer to us, please. Number two, silence your cell phone unless you happen to catch a piece of knowledge that you think is fire and you want to tweet it, you want to Snapchat it, you want to do something with it, but give us a shout out, hashtag GCC comes to Hostos. Something like that. Okay? So we're going to take you on a journey this afternoon. It's one that is incredibly personal to us. But what we're hoping is that at the end of this conversation, you're going to find yourselves reflected in that journey and find the places where you fit in and start writing your name into your personal narrative so that it becomes your story and not somebody else's story. Quick show of hands, how many people have seen that meme that says, day one of a 365-page book? Right? It should have been all over the internet and the Snapchats and Instagram this a couple weeks ago, maybe last week. This is day 8 of 365, so if you started to write a little bit late, that's fine, we're going to catch you up. But this is an unexpected journey of leadership. Are you guys ready? Yes. Are you guys ready? Yes. All right, Andrew, take it away.
All right. So I'm going to start you off with a little icebreaker. Again, my name is Andrew Bennett, but everybody calls me Drew, so please call me Drew. I'm not going to tell too much about myself because I'm going to do that later. So this activity is going to require you to get up a little bit and move around, so put your foot down. I have a few rules. First rule is you can't look at your sticky card, right? The name of the game is called Dynamic Duo. So we're going to hand out some Hostos a little bit. You can't look at yours. You can stick it on your forehead, or you can ask somebody to put it on your back, but we don't want you to look at it, all right? It's very important that you don't look at it. What you have to do is walk around the room, asking yes or no questions to people in the room to help you figure out who you are. You can't ask to confirm. So let's say mine is, let's say it's Andrew Bennett, right? I can say, am I a male? Am I famous? Am I alive? Right? I can ask yes or no questions, but I can't say, am I Andrew Bennett? Because then that's going to give it away, right? So you can't ask to verify the exact identity of the person, but you can ask yes or no questions. The point of the game is to find your dynamic duo. So somebody shout out, what's a famous dynamic duo? Batman and Robin. There we go. I don't watch the Bible, but I believe it. LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. That's a great one. That's the best dynamic duo. Huh? Bonnie and Clyde. Let's go. Dana and Will. Perfect. So y'all get it, right? So on these post-its, we have famous dynamic duos. Your job is to find your dynamic duo pair. And then once you find your pair, we'll give you further instructions. Well, actually, when you find your dynamic duo pair, you go through a set of 3 questions. And it'll all make sense at the end of the day. Actually, was that in a row? Yeah. We're going to ask 3 questions. First one is, who is your favorite hero and why? Second question is, are there any similarities between your hero and your dynamic duo's hero? And the last question is, what is one thing you hope to learn and gain from this presentation? All right? Any questions? No questions? You know when you know. You know when you know. So, again, you can stick it on your forehead, or you can ask a colleague or friend to stick it on your back.
On your forehead, your hat. But you can actually take it off the stage. So try. No, give it another one. So yeah, now you can peel it off from this side.
Yeah, right. It is sticking.
There's a lot of that.
Do we do it all? Yep. So, if you do not have one, what you can do is you get an assistant facilitated by allowing people to ask you yes or no questions.
Put it on your back. Just make sure that
So everybody else?
Who's still missing one? Who's still missing
All right, go ahead and ask those questions.
Again, not have one, you can help out by allowing people to ask yes or no questions. So you can float the room and allow people to ask you questions.
Minutes remaining. 5 minutes remaining.
Okay, we got it. Okay, so or anybody. So, you are not real. That's the question. You never played picture.
Yeah, I do like that kind of
So if you're not what else? It's something that's not
Oh, I'm not really, it's not edible. And then you
Get my boys clap once. Get my boys clap twice. Get my boys clap 3 times. Before we take a seat, real quick. Did anybody have a difficult time finding your partner? Yeah, for sure. Can we work on it for a second? Well, Mike, so I hand him over here. What was that experience like? Actually, you know what? Let's everybody go back to seats.
Yes. Yes.
Was it difficult? Was it easy?
Thank you. Not like that, you get me back.
Alright, exactly. So then who are you? Did you find your Sonic? No? Who is Sonic in the room? Sonic is right there. Okay. So right there alone, right? Anybody else?
I found mine.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
I had no clue on who this guy was.
That might make it difficult if you don't know who the person is, obviously. Did you find Ken? All right. Acting a series of questions, okay? Anybody else want to reflect on activity? Maybe what you spoke about when you find your partner? Any similarities in your favorite hero versus who their favorite hero is? Go. Right. The trial and error, you all figured it out for the most part. So give yourselves a round of applause. It definitely is, in part, just to get you a win, asking no yes or no questions. Obviously, if you don't know who the person is, it might make it a little bit difficult. But I'm glad you all participated. I appreciate that. So the last question, well, I do want to ask the second to last question. We asked, are there any similarities between your heroes and your dynamic heroes, and your dynamic partners' hero? Did anybody get to talk about that? Okay, so one person, who's your favorite hero and why? In life. Yes. Now tell me why.
He was a revolutionist that he eye for eye, super true, so he had to make a difference in his activism.
Okay. Yeah. That's good. Everybody else over here?
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Can you put some more women next time?
You know what? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I apologize. You're absolutely right. You're right. You're absolutely right. I apologize. And after the Golden Rule, you say, you're throwing me out. You're throwing me out. You're right. You're right. My time is up. You're right. You're right. It was difficult to find, but you know, that's a good point. That's a good point. It was difficult to try to find dynamic duos. You're right. I apologize. Thank you for the feedback. Okay. Okay. So since you're on the floor, who's one of your favorite heroes, whether fictional or real life? Who's one of your heroes?
I'm Michelle Obama. I look up to her.
Okay.
Strong, opinionated, do all the things that depend on him.
Okay.
And she can stand alone without us.
Got it.
So, she's mine.
2020. 2020. Yeah. Okay. Great. So one thing that we're going to talk about, again, this is your hero journey. We're going to look at the similarity between some of these heroes, whether they're real life, whether they're fictional. One of my favorite, stuck in my head, my niece loves this movie, Hercules. Every time she comes over, we watch Hercules, right? And I can go the distance, and I think about him a lot when I was making the presentation. And even though he's a fictional character, his journey, Michael Mex's journey, Kevin Castle's journey, we're going to look at some of those similarities. So we want you to start to think about that through the presentation. And the last question before we go on is, what is one thing you hope to learn and gain from the presentation? Maybe one or two people that you hope to gain from the presentation, aside from just staying out of basic. I appreciate the open mind. So that's a good one. We'll definitely hope to address that. Maybe one more? One takeaway? Yes. Looking at things from a different perspective is very important. A lot of times we come in with our own lens because we lived our lives for 19, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, and that's our lens, right? The most difficult thing to do is change somebody's mind. So I don't want to change your mind, but I do hope to open up the perspective to something different. So we're going to transition. Yeah, Dan. Yeah. Come to Mike's here. That's great. That's perfect. I love that. We're definitely going to come back to that. Well, he said to become somebody's hero. I love it. And for those of you who never saw The Matrix, this point, we need to see The Matrix. It's a great movie.
All right, so again, good afternoon. My name is Danny Cordova. I am the Assistant Director of the Office of Admissions at Huntington Community College. And as Drew mentioned, we did the dynamic duos, and the question was heroes, right? Who's your favorite hero? What are some similarities between the heroes that we share? And what are we hoping to learn? And I think, what was your name? Julian? Julian said to become someone's hero. So today we're going to talk about an unexpected journey of leadership. And so you have three men of color who work in higher education, who consider themselves in some form or fashion leaders. And today we're going to not only share our story, but we're going to share a lot about our unexpected journey of leadership. And so in our mind, we are someone's hero at our campuses, at our homes, in our lifestyles. So we're going to jump right into our presentation. We're going to start off with that semester. We're going to take it.
All right. How many of us are the first member of our family to come to college? Show of hands. Okay. There's some strength in that. How many of us firmly believe that we are the authors of our destiny? Right? Okay. So what this presentation is intended to do is help you understand the different ways in which you can embrace your destiny, take control of it, and start to write down the pieces that are important not only to you, but that will ultimately become important to the people who you will inevitably inspire. We are all pursuing education, yes? Right? We're college students. We are leaders in our communities. We are leaders in the classroom. We're leaders in our families. Some of us leaders in church. This narrative journey is applicable in all those places. How many people saw Star Wars? And when I say Star Wars, I'm talking about the original 1974 version where a young farm boy named Luke Skywalker ventures out into space, eventually finds his father, and saves the universe. Right? It's my favorite movie of all time. What I did not know when I was sitting watching that movie is how it would transform my life, because what George Lucas did is he told me the story of my life through the lens of this white farm boy. All right, so we're gonna take some licenses and change that. But there's this theory that if you look at the steps in that journey, match what we're doing in our lives. And so what I'm saying to you is that if we take a look at this, what's called a monomyth, the hero's journey as presented by Joseph Campbell, who was a literature professor, and he studied the great myths of the world and he saw certain trends. And what happens is that there is this thing called the call to adventure. It's this first step in our hero's journey. And what I'm proposing is that for many of you, today, you're taking your first step formally into your personal narrative. My hope is that by the end of this presentation, when you get up in front of a group of people to do a presentation to them, you're able to share this information with them based on what you have gone through. We're going to share our lightsaber battles with Darth Vader. We're going to share our finding our dads and our demons and our dragons and all that kind of stuff. But what I want you to think about is, who are your demons? Who are your dragons? Who are you fighting for? Because that's going to be, when we get to the end, one of the most important pieces of this presentation. So basically what we're going to do is walk you through all of these steps, not all 12, because we don't have time for that. Ain't nobody has time for that. But we're going to try to give you as much as we can in a short amount of time. Okay, so step one is the call to adventure. This is where you begin in a situation of normality. You're used to your life. You've lived every day in and out as you've experienced it. But something happens that says, hey, you, wake up. You've been asleep. It's time to come up out the matrix. If I'm going to use Drew's example. And so I propose that that was the day that college entered your life. Can anybody relate to that experience? The thoughts that happened when college first came into your life? Your hand went up. Tell me about that day. Stand up, please.
I was working in Salvation Army as a assistant manager. And after some ordeals of certain leadership that wasn't being found in the workplace, I realized it wasn't for me. I can't see myself working a 9-to-5 job where someone doesn't respect me. When I have the authority, I don't have to respect. And I needed to do something about that. That's why I did that.
That's what it is. I love that. I love that. I got another hand. Back it up.
Yeah, it was somewhat similar. You know, I was working in the beauty industry. And one day I woke up and I was just like, this isn't my life anymore. You know, I should be doing something different. You know, and I just quit my job. I went and got my GED and went to college.
So this call to adventure moves you out of your normal world, right? It's asking you to give up everything that you knew and try something different. And to be sure, everybody in your life started to see you differently. How many of us went to college and came back to the neighborhood or came back to the house and somebody's like, so you think you're smart now? Right? Those are the haters coming to get you, because the second you start to own your heroship, people come for you. Right? So what we're going to do today is we're going to strengthen your resolve and say, keep fighting. You have to keep fighting. As I look around the room, I see all the beautiful colors of the rainbow represented in here. God bless. This is why we do it, to ensure that our people, our family, have the chance to go next level. Because we do this thing not only for ourselves, we do it for the ones that come after. We blaze a trail for them to kind of sort of follow, because they got to do it their own way. But every story has an origin, has a beginning. So you're going to find out about our origin and our beginning, because that's a critical piece of this journey. You need to know who's giving us this information. Can I trust this guy? You can trust this guy. I don't know about that guy. So you trust this guy. So give us the next slide, sir. Boom. Andrew.
So real quick, Andrew again, call me from grew up in Brownsville. You are from Brooklyn? Brownsville. Alright. So I grew up around Brownsville, Brooklyn. Jamaican man. I say that because I'm first generation American. Raised in a Christian home, so my mom just played that. My favorite thing was Spirit Around, spoil the child. I'm not going to lie to mother with that. I gotta say. Oh, that's funny. So yeah, so that's how I grew up. Uncle, a brother, a friend, a son. That's a lot of what's around me. I mentioned my niece already. I love my nieces and nephews. Member of Cal Alpha Incorporated. That's a group I joined when I was in college, a fraternity of like-minded individuals to kind of build me up. People I can rely on, people I call my brother, people I call my friend, my role models. I like to travel. I like to travel. I get the time off to see my team over there. It's my days off, right? But I try to stack my days off and just try to get some things in my passport and see the world. It's not my eyes. That's a little bit of who I am in a nutshell. But I'll come back full circle and go further into my career journey. That's who I am.
Again, my name is Danny. I was born and raised also in Brooklyn. My parents, first generation college student, right? My parents are from Puerto Rico and Peru, so they are immigrants in the country. Academically, I was always driven with math, so math is not typically a strong point in a lot of what I would say minorities, right, and underprivileged academic settings. Math is typically not our strength or something that we like, but math was something that driven me, so that's helped me go into the academic realm, where I then pursued my bachelor's in higher education. My bachelor's in mathematics and education. In my undergrad experience, I became an RA, a resident assistant, which kind of led me into this field of higher education, working with students, and then that led me into wanting to get a master's degree. So I recently completed my master's degree at Stony Brook University in higher education administration, and now I'm working at Government Community College in the Office of Admissions. This has been a crazy 2017 year for me. I won tickets to go see Hamilton. I don't know if you guys know Hamilton. That was the highlight. That was the highlight of my year. And on top of that, I was able to pay off all my student loans, which was also great. And in the year 2017, I was able to buy a house. So those are some things that really I appreciate it. Those are things that really were the highlights of my year last year. And it's a little bit about me. The best thing on that list was definitely the Hamilton ticket.
All right, so I guess I'm going to run out the conversation. This is me, as a baby. I was born in Brooklyn too, so this is a very Brooklyn-heavy presentation that we have here. In the future versions, we can have more women and maybe some Bronx folks up in here so that we can share the borough out. But I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Puerto Rico by my maternal grandparents, and I think some of us in this room can understand what it means to be raised by people other than your parents who are still your parents. So I caught beatings everywhere. I was that kid. But in particular, I'm the eldest and only male child, which carries with it certain responsibilities in our household, right? You are the first to go do stuff. You are the one that is expected to carry the family name. You are the one that has to go work and support. And in a household where there is no father present, right, because he wasn't there after that picture was taken, what do you do? How do you handle that? How do you, as a child, step up and become a man? Who are your father figures, right? So all of this creates the person that you see before you today. I know who I am now, but it took the entirety of the past 43 years of my life to get to this point where I can stand in front of you confidently and say, I am Nuyorican, I am firmly a Jedi, working on my Force powers. I am a geek, I love comic books, I don't know if you can tell, but that's a Spider-Man bow tie and a Spider-Man sweater. And I'm a Brooklynite, I rep my borough everywhere I go. My hope is that by the end of this conversation, you're going to start to figure out what are your main points. What are the things that you're going to say to people to start to build that credibility? Because if I'm going to talk to you about stuff about the city life, if I told you I was from Arkansas, right? But this is a whole new piece of why we think you need to know this, because you are going to become us. few short years, you're going to be going through this presentation. That's what I'm excited about. So Danny, take us to the next step.
Right, so then going back to the call to adventure, right? That's step one of our model myth, of Joseph Campbell's model myth, the circle that we looked at earlier. That first thing is the call to adventure. And so our call to adventure was our higher education experience, right? Going into college. And so you have a representation of different state schools outside New York State schools. We have you represented here and much more. Myself, I went to SUNY Rockport, and then after SUNY Rockport, I went to Stony Brook. SUNY Rockport is like 6.5 hours upstate New York. When I was in high school, I had no idea that you can drive 6 hours and still be in New York. And so that's where I went. And this is a completely different experience than New York City. Very, very different than New York City. That's what you guys were talking a little bit about your alma mater and how that was different from New York.
I kind of skipped that step, but I went to SUNY Albany, great name, New York. And then I went to Indiana University for grad school. And again, I'm from Brooklyn, so Brownsville. So, and I went to Cloud High School in Brooklyn. I'm quite familiar with that. So I grew up around nothing but black and brown. So when I went to school, I'll tell you about Indiana. I took a bus 20 something hours and they dropped me off in the middle of like nowhere and I had my bag. New York City kid. With the dollar bins out there. I had no idea what was going on. My bro came from like, and it was one of those cities that I could see another like person of color. Give me a hug, like give me a hug. Like so it was one of those experiences. It was very, very difficult for me to adjust initially. Very homesick. I was never homesick before, but I couldn't wait to get back home and like be in traffic, get a big patty, something like that. That was my agenda. It was a beautiful city though. I did enjoy it. I would go back to home and again we'll kind of talk about that in the circle of terrorism. That's I got my bachelor's degree in social work with a minor in African studies and a master's in
So one of the things, the celebration of life, what I want you to get is that we are celebrating each other. Because one of the things that we have to do is big each other up. When we see someone in the struggle, we gotta say, I see your struggle, and I know you're gonna do it. I know you're gonna get to that next step. And especially if it's our brothers and sisters. We need to give each other that encouragement and support. For me, SUNY Oneonta, like Drew, I grew up around black and brown. When I went to SUNY Oneonta, the student body was 98% heterogeneous white. I had known my whole life that I was Puerto Rican, but I didn't know how Puerto Rican I was until I went to that campus. I wasn't finding chuletas. I wasn't finding cuchi people. I wasn't finding chimichurri. I was finding cafeteria food. Searching for tostón or maduro, something, right? But that helped me to realize that I needed to internalize this journey and figure out who I was going to be in a place where they didn't want me. And for a long time, the story has been higher education does not want us. It wasn't created for us. But we're here. It's a beautiful testament to our resilience and our fight and our struggle. And my life now has become the revolution and the rebellion. And people telling me, you can't do this? Oh no. Watch. And so this again becomes your moment to say, watch me. All right, say that again. Watch me. All right, and continue.
Alright, so now with the second quadrant of the monument. So again, as we're talking, I just want to reiterate, it's not about us. I kind of want you to listen to what we're saying, but see yourself in this journey as well. So right now, I'm going to kind of break down each point. First part is mentor, help. How many people think it's important to have a mentor? How many people have a mentor? I saw some hands go down, and that's okay. But this is my favorite part of this whole circle. This is actually why I'm here right now today is to the fair. Because of that mentor. Chris Fernando, never forget, my first day of orientation, he was like the guy on campus working with student affairs. He was the program coordinator for like Project Excel, the academic support program. And as soon as I got there, he kind of took me in his wing, mentored me, helped me work some classes, helped me, through relationship drama, through trust on money, through homesick. He was that person I cried on, literally, like showed me the crying on my face, shout out, I love that. I love that guy. But yeah, I think that's a really important part of the circle. And think about your favorite hero, right? Give me a movie. my shout out to Captain America, right? Captain, man, everybody, think about it rather. Anybody who's in this cycle of heroism has a mentor. Malcolm X had a mentor. Martin Luther King had a mentor. And even though these people may not get the credit they deserve, they're behind the scenes. They still had a mentor. So we look to the screen had some, famous people who had mentors and people who mentored them. Martin Luther by the way. I'm not sure if you didn't see maybe. Because Neo was the star of the movie, but Morpheus was the mentor. Frida, she had a mentor. And it's when we use fictional characters as well as people in real life to show that the journey is the same. No matter who you are, everybody has a mentor. Obama had a mentor. And it's very important to kind of find and identify that person in your life who you have as a mentor, because nobody does it alone. There's that favorite African proverb, I hope I don't misquote it, but if you're going to go somewhere fast, you go alone. If you're going to go somewhere far, you go together. Right? So you need to see people in your circle, people in your corner, to motivate you and push you. How many people wanted to quit, and then you have that person say, like, keep going, right? Whether it's your mother, your best friend, colleague, and your mentor doesn't need to be an old wise man, right? It can be anybody. I have mentors who are younger than me. I have mentors who are my same age. I don't let them know it because, they may get big. But I have people who I graduated college from, wow, you really doing it. And I look at them as a mentor, as a role model. So before this year is up, this is New Year's resolution for you all. If you don't have a mentor, find a mentor. Find somebody who can guide you, somebody who can motivate you, you can motivate as well. Because you definitely can't do it alone, and nobody does it alone. Crossing the threshold. This is the next part of the monument. I kind of want to highlight this for a second. I actually had to Google threshold. You use the word a lot, but I never really know what a threshold was.